So today is Memorial Day in the United States, where we honor those who paid the ultimate price and gave their lives to defend our country. I feel like everyone knows someone, is friends with someone, has a family member who is impacted, by this day. This kid we used to skate with back in the day, Justin Marquez, was unfortunately lost his life, serving in the military and stuff like that. And it's very hard, man. It's very hard, and it's something that impacts a lot of people. So just, remember those who have lost their lives, whether you feel this, that, or the other about war and stuff like that. Like, keep the human aspect into it. And RIP to those who are no longer with us. I'm going to be honest with you. My energy is a little low today. My uncle did have his Memorial Day party yesterday, and got a little rowdy, very interesting dynamic. Yeah, I'll talk about it at the end of the video in case you're interested in it. So stick around for that if you want. There's a couple little Switch 2 related things I wanted to talk about really quick. First time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. That would be super cool of you to do. The first thing I want to talk about is Digital Foundry has assessed the Cyberpunk 2077 situation and given a somewhat final answer as far as how it compares to other platforms. In terms of visual clarity and performance, it is indeed better than the PlayStation 4, but I think most people were interested in something like the Xbox Series S as far as, how does it compare to that? We've seen stuff like, Street Fighter 6, which allegedly, from what we've seen at least so far, appears to be looking and running just as good, if not better, in terms of visual clarity and, details and stuff on the characters, better on the Switch 2 than it has been on the Xbox Series S. Now, according to Digital Foundry, the Switch 2 version of the game does indeed look better in terms of visual details and things of that nature. But when it comes to the frame rates of the game, the Xbox Series S does have an advantage. And that's something I actually find rather interesting, because it seems like they tried to do more with the Switch 2 version in terms of things like visuals and whatnot, and really pushing the engine and, trying to increase things like visual detail and texture quality and stuff like that versus the Series S. Whereas on the Series S, it seems like they prioritize frame rate. Now, to me, you could have the best graphics in the world, but if the performance of the game in terms of frame rate is choppy or all over the place, or, lesser than on other versions, I think that's just as important, if not more important, than how a game looks just from a technical perspective. Now, this is obviously something you're going to have in hand as long as the frame rate is solid. I don't think many people would be too bummed out about it. Like I said, Cyberpunk 2077, at least when I played it, was not a very good game. I've heard that it is much better now. It has all this sort of DLC and crap like that. But this is one of the more highly anticipated Switch 2 third-party games, just because, the technical marvel sort of thing of this game running on there. And I do think it looks good. This is obviously something, though, that can be potentially improved over time as far as, upping the frame rate. When you look at something like The Witcher 3, which released on the Switch, that had a whole bunch of graphical upgrades that were done after the game release. So this could be a similar situation, but at the end of the day, it's a portable hybrid system that it's running the game much better than the Steam Deck. The Series S is a $380 system nowadays, and everything's all digital with that. So, I think you take what you can get in this. Is that going to be a detriment to you, though? Let me know in the comments down below. And the final thing is, really, it's a thing for you, because there is a very good money-making opportunity. Now, granted, you might get in trouble, but you only get in trouble if you get caught. And to that I say, well, just don't get caught. Like, we got to be good at what you do. Don't half-ass things. You got to be good at what you do. And Nintendo Switch 2 systems are starting to flood various stores. There have been several pictures of Target basically having like Switch 2s like in a cage, and like there's a big padlock on it and stuff like that. You know, these are allegedly for the people that come into the store on day one in order to purchase them. The quantities are kind of all over the place as far as how many systems are available at each store. Obviously, bigger Target locations, bigger GameStop locations are going to have more systems than some little podunk ass town that doesn't have a big population of people. But this is obviously something that these companies are now, you know, these companies, as in the retailers, are starting to have to deal with. And of course, that means there is the off chance that maybe one falls out of the cage and somebody brings it home and they're like, well, I don't really want a Nintendo Switch 2, but I know RGT does, and I know he wants to get one early. So then you DM RGT, and you'll make, I mean, trust me, you will make good money selling me one of these early. I don't want you to get caught. I honestly don't want to know how you got it. That's none of my business. My business is trying to get my greasy mitts on one before everybody else. But what's interesting about that is, we do know that there is like a big day one system patch for the system. So it's like, is that going to potentially like impact things? Like maybe that has to do with the fact that that's why a lot of review places aren't getting these systems early, because maybe there's some sort of bug or flaw with the system. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the case, but I do find it interesting that we do know that there is a sizable day one patch for the system, and that's not outside, you know, the realm of normalness or anything like that. Like, you know, system updates are pretty common, even day one things. But when you think about all the other things that are going on and the limited amount of review units that are going to be out there for people and various websites, I wonder if that has any sort of correlation. I don't know that it does. I'm just really spitballing things there. But what I do know is that there are Nintendo Switch 2s sitting in the back rooms of major retailers. And, you know, if you want to make a little bit of extra money, my Twitter DMs are open. We can talk shop. I don't want to know how you got it. That's none of my business. Maybe your uncle works at Nintendo, and your uncle was like, hey, man, I want you to have this Switch 2 early because you're my favorite niece and or nephew. And, you know, hey, you don't want it, but I do, because I got bills to pay and I got money to make covering the system. If you do work at one of these locations, though, kind of all jokes aside, even though I'm honestly really not joking, you know, let me know. Shoot me a DM or something. Let me know how many systems you got just kind of hanging out back there. I'm going to try. You know, I still have my backup plan with the individual that I contacted, who's getting one from GameStop and getting one from Target and selling me the one from Target. You know, that's still my main backup plan. Shout outs to him. But I am going to try on launch day to get one from a retailer. My GameStop is in a mall, so they're not doing a midnight launch. That's fine. I like to sleep anyways. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with all that. Like I said, you know, my mind is a little bit in a fog right now because of my uncle's Memorial Day party. But it was a good time, man. There was probably like 70, 80 people there. The optics, the dynamics are just so all over the place. You got everything from like 2-year-old little kids running around, and, you know, Puerto Rican gangsters and Italian Guido WAP mobsters, and, you know, at 2 to 92 is the age range there. You know, you got kids running around, a big bonfire. The band was playing music. You know, they got a new chick that was playing or not playing, she was singing some stuff. They play some decent stuff, though. They play a little Barracuda by Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin. They killed that. And I had quite a few adult beverages. I probably had a few too many, to be perfectly honest with you. But the food was flowing. The tunes were good. We were watching the Knicks game outside. It was a good time. I think I might have gotten bit by some mosquitoes, though, because my leg is kind of itchy. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to end this video. I need something to eat. I probably need to take a nap as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments section down below. Are you picking up Cyberpunk on the Switch 2? And what do you think about these early systems? And can you get your hands on one? If so, hi, my name's RGT, and I want to make you an offer that you maybe can't refuse. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell as well, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.